Good morning. Depending upon what time zone you are in, it is 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the time zone where I am. And welcome. My name is SmallBizDavid, and we are here today. Just this week, I made the decision that I wanted to do a daily HOA. And the reason, and there's a strategic reason why I wanted to do it, and basically, I don't enjoy writing blog type articles, information. There's a certain kind of writing that I do enjoy doing, but it's definitely not a blog. So I made the decision several years ago that instead of putting out a daily blog, something in the written form, that I was going to communicate with the rest of the world by video. And I have done over 700 YouTubes that includes HOAs that go to YouTube, but that's what I want to do. And I figured the best use of my time, a half hour every day, of which it would take me at least that amount of time to write a blog, is to do a video. Did I make a good decision, Tim?
Sounds good to me. I'm another one that's adverse to writing. Pencil for me means it's supposed to do something artistic.
On a canvas.
On a canvas, exactly. And whereas the video aspect I like, simply because I think it's more personal too, when you're discussing a certain topic or something for someone, because they'll get to see the facial expressions and the voice inflections that you just don't get from text.
Right. Well, I want to actually, I haven't formally introduced one of our community members, Tim Longwell, and Tim and I met. Actually, when was the first time? I mean, we've seen each other in streams, but was it at?
I think it was Delilah's. Yeah, last week.
Delilah's hangout where we first met, and we struck up a little friendship there, and lo and behold, with some brainstorming that was done, Tim said he wanted to come today and make some type of announcement to the community. So we're going to get to that announcement in a little while, but before we do that, Wayne, I see Wayne next. I said, "You're not Wayne, you're Tim." Let me get this straight. Tim, the one way that I like to start off my hangouts, well, you've seen them. You know that I like to quote from a friend of mine who was one of my featured entrepreneurs, who I got to get her to join the community, but her name is Barbara Weltman, and she comes out with an idea of the day, and I did want to share her idea today. It was kind of interesting. The SBA, Small Business Administration, and you hear me talk about the Small Business Administration a lot, or I share a lot of announcements that the Small Business Administration does. They've created online programs to help entrepreneurs, small business owners learn about preparing for a loan application, and they have current lending options, federal resources, and they actually have webinars that they conduct about loans. So if you are interested in trying to acquire a loan for your business, you absolutely want to go to, you want to go to YouTube and do a search for Small Business Administration or SBA, because they've done quite a few YouTubes on that. And let me make one point in passing here. A lot of folks think that the Small Business Administration actually makes loans to your business, and that is absolutely not the case at all. What the SBA does is they will guarantee a loan. So in other words, you have to go to a traditional lender, an angel investor. Actually, I think it needs to be a traditional lender, such as a bank. And you go to the bank and present your strategy, your business plan, and they may say to you, and quite often they say, well, good idea, we'll loan you the money for your business, but you need to get an SBA guarantee. Now, the banks love the SBA guarantees because the SBA, and you'll have to present your business case to the SBA, but it's not a lot of paperwork. Interesting enough, it's not a lot. You can get to the bottom line pretty quickly. You can get a decision from the SBA pretty quickly, and they will guarantee up to. And there's different SBA loans. I think there's probably a half a dozen or more different loans that they will guarantee, but they will guarantee up to 90% of some loans. And that's a great thing that the banks love, because their exposure, then their risk factor is only 10%. So they love those SBA guaranteed loans. Okay, enough about the SBA, although one last thing I should say. Next week, no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks from, it'll be a week from Monday, is National Small Business Week. And we will probably be doing some special things inside of our community during the SBA announced National Small Business Week. Enough of that. One article that I would like to share, and Tim, you jump in at any time with questions or comments that you would like to make about something that you're hearing, because I love to be challenged with stuff. I love people asking questions.
Sure, no problem.
So I'm going to also share real quickly, and then we're going to move on to having a real-time live discussion about entrepreneurship with Tim. But I get an email just about every day from some folks, and they're called Smart Briefs, and they have maybe a dozen different versions of these small briefs, and I get about 3 of them that relate to entrepreneurship or small business. So I'm going to very quickly quote from a story in their brief on entrepreneurs, if I can find it here, because they'll have as many as I don't know, a dozen stories within a single blog, so to speak. Okay, this one is called, come on, Chromebook, speed it up. I'm using too much Google bandwidth. Here's what it actually takes to make it as an entrepreneur, and I'm not going to go into a deep discussion. I'll throw it out there, and if members of the community who are viewing would like to discuss some of the things that they hear, please let me know. A young male who was born to be an entrepreneur drops out from a computer science program at a prestigious university. He meets a powerful venture capitalist who is so enamored with his idea that he gives him millions of dollars to build his technology. You know what we're talking about already? I actually didn't read this opening paragraph, but you know what we're talking about on that one?
No, I guess I missed that one. Who are we talking about here?
We're talking about, we have to be talking about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. Dropped out of college, computer scientist, great idea.
Okay, that makes sense.
Met a venture capitalist, and the rest is history.
That makes
Created
sense.
the youngest billionaire of all time. That went from 0 to billion. Okay, here are 6 myths about entrepreneurship and what it takes. Entrepreneurs are a product of nature. A common belief is that entrepreneurs are born and cannot be made. What do you think about that, Tim?
I have to disagree. I've had pretty much most of my life, I've preferred to work for me over someone else. So when I went to work, after I turned 18, I went to work. I bought my own semi within less than 6 months of working for somebody else. Drove that for 7.5 years. Then opened my own computer business after a little stint in law enforcement and search and rescue, and then now my oil painting business and everything. Do I have any special talents? Is anybody else in my family entrepreneur minded or not? No, they're all, most of them, my uncles and everything, they all worked for the auto industry union one way or another, either as a part supplier to the big three or for the one of the big three. So, no, I have to disagree that we're not born. It's heart's desire.
I don't know what I was because I actually was born into a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather was a very successful small business owner, but very successful. My father actually, when he died, he owned two small businesses, and he started both of those businesses in the same year, which was kind of bizarre. He bought one, an existing business, and he started one. And he started those businesses 6 years before he died. So, but he had other small businesses, a little one along the way, and worked for my grandfather and what have you. But I don't know what I was, if I was born or it was born into it or whatever it might have been. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Number two, the best entrepreneurs are young. If you're over 35, you're over the hill. Oh my God, Tim, I'm 30 years over the hill. What am I going to do?
I don't know. It seems kind of strange to me that just because you're over 30 doesn't mean you can't be intelligent and resourceful and creative.
I think what they're saying there is a lot of the businesses being started today, technology-type businesses, Google, for sure, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all started by folks in the under 35 category. And because of their affinity with technology, I guess that statement was kind of when you have to be at that age to do it well. You certainly are an advantage at that age to start a business, but that's a lot of baloney. I'm still starting projects, and I'm going to start them until I can't start them anymore, Tim. That's the way that is. Dropping out is the way to go. Education is merely a distraction. That's kind of interesting because my education had nothing to do with what I'm doing in life. I could have dropped out, and done today what I started doing years ago. That's not always the case. What about yourself and your educational background? How does it tie to what you are doing today?
Actually, I have no formal education in what I did today. I wound up homeschooled for high school, and then just to make sure that it was recognized by the state I went and got a GED on top of that. So technically I have 2 high school diplomas. And then I've gone on and gotten courses in college. I've attended certification courses for when I was doing my computer business. Did I need those before I started my business in computers? No. Did nothing. In fact, the most advanced technologically that was available when I was even going to school for training was basically electronic engineer. You learned how to fix TVs and radios that were still tube type.
I forgot what I was going to say. You had made a statement and it caught my attention. I forgot about what it was. Okay, no big deal. Number 4, female entrepreneurs don't have what it takes to cut it in the tech world. Interesting comment, because female entrepreneurs have pretty much been shut out of the tech world up until a couple years ago, and there's a big movement right now with not only females starting businesses, and in fact, of all the new businesses being started, more are being started by females than males. That is a piece of data information, but the doors in technology are wide open, and to that point, the chief operating officer of Facebook her education was actually she was a world banker before she got into the technology world, but she was at Google, and she didn't make her way into, and we'll talk about Sheryl Sandberg. She did not make her way into the Google inner circle, and then Mark Zuckerberg offered her, I think, $45 million to come and work for him, and she grabbed that up, and she's now a billionaire thanks to the things that have happened to her at Facebook. The other one that comes to mind is Marissa Mayer. Marissa is the CEO of Yahoo, and in fact, she was also in the inner circle at Google the same time that Sheryl was. Once again, didn't make it up to the upper levels, and she left to go be CEO of Yahoo. So that whole dynamic is changing. Female entrepreneurs are starting businesses, and they're doing it. Some are certainly doing it in technology. Okay, myth number 5.
Before we go too fast here, you've got a bunch of comments. I don't know why they're not showing up on the event page unless I'm looking at the wrong one, but I managed to capture them in comment track.
Throw some out there.
First one would be this one here. Laura Williams is saying not over the hill.
Laura Williams rocks. She had a serious problem with Google last week, and she sent a message out to all of her friends in Google world. And actually, she was was in an HOA in this community. But Laura rocks. Okay, what else, Tim?
Okay, you got Preston Odenbred is saying after 30 is when most successes happen. Many top leaders, it took longer than that even. Look at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, what about Kentucky Fried Chicken? Was Colonel Sanders in his 80s when he started that company or something like that?
Yeah, he was up there. Then Laura Williams was another one, complimenting your list of myths in response to the question of education. Think that you need to be a lifelong learner. Successful entrepreneurs know when to educate themselves so that they can move forward. Formal education covers just the basics.
Interesting comment, Laura. If I might make a personal comment on that myself, I have never, Tim, taken a business or management course in my life. I've lectured them. Grade school, high school, college, and even graduate school, but I've never taken a course, and I'm a product of the streets, which there's really nothing wrong with being a product of the streets. You learn, and you learn quickly, and you learn what the real world is all about, and not necessarily what the textbooks say the real world is all about.
Right. I tend to agree.
Number 5, entrepreneurs. And by the way, Tim, we could take any one of these topics and do an entire, an entire
show. Sure.
Yes. So maybe we'll use it with some guidelines. Entrepreneurship requires venture capital. Not true. I can talk from personal experience. I've had, in all the things I've done in my life, I've only had outside investment to one of them, and that was back in 1978. I wanted to start a magazine from scratch and went to a banker, told my story. The banker had never met me, My family never did any business with his bank. I told him my story. Didn't take back in 1978. You didn't have to take a business plan like that to get funding. I told him my story. I had about 5 or 6 printed pages of my story, facts, projections, and I left his office. 24 hours later, literally, he called me up and he said, "Come on down and pick up a check for $10,000." And that was my only experience with outside investment. So you don't need it. Well, I shouldn't say you don't need it. In a big mistake that entrepreneurs make as they're starting businesses often is that they are undercapitalized for whatever it is. They don't plan well enough that, okay, I need this much money for the business. I need this much money for my home, for my family, and they get caught in a big trap. And if things don't go as expected, as projected, as they would like them to go, it can become a very serious problem. And actually, it's kind of interesting. Just in the last couple days, 2 people in some circles have made comments about that very fact and how it's relating to them. One went public with it, and one is having a private conversation with me about it. And it's my comment to both was that entrepreneurs have to make tough decisions. I don't care. We have to make tough decisions, and they're even tougher decisions when they impact our families.
We got some more comments. Yeah, I agree. The family can be a very serious factor in success or failure of a business. Without family support, you can get very discouraged. We've got some more comments here regarding education. Your buddy Wayne Nix says that formal education creates cogs for industry. Good for knowing the basics, but not for creating visionary leaders.
And Wayne's a great one to make that comment. Wayne is trained. His education is in neonatal nursing, and he then started to build a business outside of it had a health and wellness element to it, but now he's off in a direction totally different. So he's a good one in terms of making a statement about education and how you put that to use in starting a business.
And then
okay, who else has a comment?
Laura has another comment. When you're teaching yourself something, you take what you need and leave the fluff behind. And that's a very good point.
Great comment, Laura.
That's
great
a very
comment.
Good
I
point.
think that's what's a great comment, and I think we also refer to that as getting to the bottom line.
Yeah, there is a lot of fluff in a lot of education, especially the commercial courses. There's a lot of meat, but unfortunately, because of requirements in order to meet federal educational guidelines and different things like that, colleges and schools do add a certain amount of fluff, which leads back to that difference that we were talking about just a little bit earlier of real-life experiences versus book knowledge.
Well, and there's another dynamic at play.
More beneficial.
There's another dynamic at play at the university level, and it's changing somewhat, but probably not quickly enough. I'm very friendly with the gentleman who started the entrepreneurship department at the University of Cincinnati, and he comes from an entrepreneurial family. He has done some entrepreneurial things himself, so he's the exception to the rule. But a lot of professors teaching in schools of entrepreneurship never were in the business world. Never. They're academicians, and so they don't have the practical experiences of being in business. So, you got another comment up there?
Yeah.
Vivek
says that the problem is when some people grow old, they stop learning. And
Vivek, who stops learning?
no, and he makes a very good point, quoting you. He says, in his view, the day you stop learning is the day you're over the hill. My view of that comment is the day you stop learning is the day you're dead. Because if you're not learning something every day, you missed the boat. And he would like you to let him know where you got that list of those myths from, or maybe link it in the stream later for him.
Shame on me for not. I will put it in the stream, Vivek. I thought I gave proper credit, but I guess I didn't. I will. Actually, I'll put. It looks like it's coming from the Washington Post, and I'll put the link in the stream so people can get to that. Thank you, Vivek, for reminding me that he said something that I wanted to comment on. Could you pull that up again real quickly, Tim? Vivek said something I wanted to make a personal comment about.
All right, there you go. Can you read it there?
Yeah. Actually, I can't now. You want to blue box it for a second?
I am blue boxed. You may have to blue box yours.
Yeah, I'm going to blue box mine. Okay. I don't know you're over the hill, but I'm wondering where you're going. Oh. Well, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say again. You never stop learning. I know what I was going to say. Tim, it's another thing. And have you ever talked? Has anybody ever asked you, besides your wife maybe, what your exit strategy was from your business?
Actually, no, because I've in my circle of friends before joining Google Plus, most of my circle of friends, and acquaintances, if you will, were working for the man type. They were uncomfortable striking out on their own. I was the one they always admired because I had the nerve to do it on my own and on my own way. So I didn't get that exit plan question until I was watching one of Dennis Deuce's networking roundtable.
Of all people.
His networking roundtable.
Was I on that round? Was I on that round table? I used to be on that round table a long time ago. Well, a couple months ago,
No, this particular show, his sister made the point that if you didn't have an exit plan, you hadn't fully planned your business.
It's probably his sister who's the successful entrepreneur.
Yes, currently in the Caribbean running a dive shop.
Gina, yes, Gina.
Yes.
At any rate, people used to say, well, they used to talk about the exit strategy, and I never understood the concept. And maybe it's because nobody ever pushed me on it. But anytime anybody asked me, what is your exit strategy, David? You know what my response was? I'd point to the ground. That's my exit strategy. When that happens, I'm done. But I've kind of realized what an exit strategy does. Not necessarily that you have to pursue that strategy, but at least it makes you think about it, and it becomes a part of your strategic business thinking. If you were offered what would be the ideal conditions for you to exit from what it is that you're doing? I don't ever want to exit from what I'm doing. I love it. I enjoy it. I am more productive today than I've ever been in my entire life. Why would I want to exit that? So, just a thought.
Why? And myself, let me unbox myself here. Myself, I want to continue doing art right up and like you until I go to the dirt. This particular business I'm doing is a lifelong passion. I started artwork when I was in grade school early, and I've continued on till today. And I plan on continuing on till I die, whether people buy it or not.
Okay, we have one last myth, and then actually we could go on with this one forever, and Vivek would actually, I'm sure Vivek is going to have comments about this myth that the tech world is for techies. We're not going to go into that, but maybe I'm going to have that discussion and bring Vivek on to talk about it, because Vivek is very, very technology savvy and has done some really interesting things in his life in technology. But I'm going to wait to really comment on that. I'm going to bring Vivek. Do you hear me, Vivek? I want to bring you on so you can have a discussion about that one. Okay. Interesting myths. Entrepreneurship has a lot of myths. One thing that is not a myth at all is that we as entrepreneurs must pursue whatever it is that we want to pursue with all the passion and with all the energy that we can possibly put towards that objective, whatever that objective might be. And the moment that we lose one bit of passion for what it is that we are doing, time to get out. Time to get out and move on and do something else with your time. Okay. Now, I guess while we're a little beyond the half hour, so we are definitely at the time. Tim, you had something that you wanted to share, and you've been a little bit mysterious about it. So why don't? But you said for sure I would latch on to what it is you're talking about. So why don't you share that idea with us?
Well, as David mentioned earlier, we met officially actually over an hangout last Friday after having a discourse in Delilah Taylor's The Monogamous Temptress happy hour hangout.
Two Fridays ago.
It has been 2 Fridays ago now. No, it's only been one. Because I was on the show last week. Yeah. It's only been a week. A lot has happened, isn't it?
You're kidding. You're kidding. All
of this in less than a week.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Oh, my goodness.
But what you talked about was caricatures. So you want to blue box me there, Dave, so they can see it?
I did.
Okay.
But it's not blue boxing though.
Okay, let me blue box me as well then. Here we go. How's that? There we are. Kind of. If I can get it to focus here a little bit for us. It's not doing a very good job of that today, is it? But anyway, what it is it's a caricature of a person. This particular one's of me and my HOA, and I'm offering it to the opportunity for those with their HOA or just their own blog, if they would like a caricature done by Longwell Art, then making those available to the public for just $49, and I'll get the link.
Oh wait, you're gonna make a caricature available for $49?
Sure, but there's a little extra bonus there for those that are interested. I will that $49 photo will be drawn in graphite pencil, but if you would like an oil painting of that caricature, then you can order an 11 by 14 oil painting of it for $200.
Interesting.
And so then you've got a little more permanence than a piece of paper. It'll be on the canvas with the oil paints that people know have a longevity. And for David, I made something special here that he didn't order, and you can't see it real good here, but you can kind of get the idea. There's the original, which I'll be mailing.
I see a shining forehead. I see a shining forehead.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to do something just for David here so that he can see it. Look at there.
Holy moly.
And that's, well, I'll drop that in the mail later today to you, David. You should have it in a couple of days.
Wow, what an honor. You better do something that I don't see right there. You better sign it and date it.
Oh yeah, got to do that. That is definitely
Sign it
something
and
that'll
date
be
it.
done.
Because when a Longwell goes for $1 zillion, I want to say I had one of the first.
All righty, but there you go. That's my gift to
Well,
you.
what a nice thing! What a nice thing for somebody to have in their HOA, a Longwell caricature. Interesting. I think every HOA in all of Google should have a Longwell caricature. What do you think?
Well, I'm for it, but then I'm a little biased on that suggestion.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very well. I should say that I don't know what it was. There were some comments going back and forth in the stream in Delilah's HOA, and it was something about I had made a comment about telling yarns,
Yes, I
and
think it
you
was
said,
something
well,
about
they
my
are.
storytelling. Yes.
Yes, that's what it was. And then I said, you corrected me. Well, they aren't yarns, David. And I said, well, then I segued into you, the Tim the artist, Tim Longwell the artist, and then I said, caricatures have always fascinated me because caricatures are a real expression of how that particular artist views you, how they look, what they see when they look at you. And as you and I were talking about caricatures, I told you that my son kind of, I always saw a talent in him when he was growing up, an art kind of talent, and he never, I could never get him to take art lessons. He didn't want to do it. He kind of did his sketching on his own. Well, when he was 16 years old, he worked at an amusement park. And his job at the amusement park as a 16-year-old was to do caricatures. And suddenly he got confidence in his ability to do that kind of artwork. The interesting thing was he didn't get into the business side of the caricature. His company said, churn them out, do the caricatures, charge them, upsell them, whatever, sell them in oil, not just a pencil, sell them in oil or whatever the upsell was. And he did not enjoy that aspect of the business, but he loved to do caricatures, and he got a lot of confidence in his ability to express himself that way. So they've always been fascinating to me, and I want to thank you for creating one for me. And should we, for the time being, until they get crazy, why don't we say that offer is only good for somebody who belongs to the Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google Plus community? Now, I don't want to tie your hands, because the word is going to get out that, hey, you could have a caricature, and Tim will whip it up for you, and I can use that as an opportunity to bring people into the community.
Let's say we'll keep it open like that for
24 hours.
Well, if you plan on growing your community that big that fast, that's great. What I was thinking was more along the line, if we go for those that are in the community that can order one within the next week and make their request if they want one. And so that we cover new members, let's say we'll let them be the insider group, the first to haves, for the next 30 days. If they haven't joined the community after that, then they won't get one of the numbered ones, and I will number the ones.
There you go. Great idea.
And I will number the ones that are done in the next 30 days for people. So after that, you'll get one, but it won't be a numbered version.
Great idea. Great, and thank you for that. What a wonderful benefit to join the community and invest in a caricature and put it up in your background someplace that identifies you. I think, wow, how many, can you do 1,000 of these things? Or can you, well, you can. You'll figure out how to do it with
Oh,
1,000 orders.
it may wind up with a little bit of a waiting list, but we'll definitely work it out and get them done. Each one I do is quite a bit little faster than the last one. And part of the fun about the caricatures is that it'll look just enough like you to know that it's you, but it doesn't have to be portrait perfect, because that's the fun in it. So if you want a portrait perfect one, that one's going to cost you considerably more.
Well, and you did a really neat thing by putting in my caricature my title, you know, what I'm all about, so the people could actually have their company
exactly.
name.
That's part of it. When you send me your caricature, your photo that you want for your caricature, you make your request or whatever, you have to let me know what you want on the banner. If you don't have an HOA, you want your business highlighted there instead, you got to be sure and let me know what it is on that banner that you're going to be holding. The subject of it is.
I will put a posting in the community when I post this HOA. Oh, by the way, I started something new today. I don't know that it's unique or anything, but all the HOAs that we do on a daily basis, when I post them, I've created a special area of the community, and it says daily HOAs. So anybody that misses one and wants to come and view them, they just go to one place, and all those HOAs will be right there. So that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, well, wow, we launched a business. We launched a business today. Well, Tim launched a business today, but it was done right here in Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google+. How cool is that? And Tim, I want to thank you for taking time to share some thoughts about entrepreneurship today, and really thank you for a business concept and idea, and hopefully it'll be very, very successful for you. And really, really thank you that I get #1 in the whole series. How cool is that? So when these things are selling for $1 million a piece,
nice.
I've got the #1 in the series.
And just remember who did the drawing for you if you sell it for $1 million.
I'm not going to say. I said when you sell these caricatures for $1 million.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were talking about resale.
No. I don't sell stuff like that. My sons will get that caricature when Dad cannot enjoy it anymore.
Okay. Well, there was one quick question that we could take weeks on the show that I do want to highlight, so that Alina knows we didn't forget her. And that is, she has a question of what is the key to successful business?
Oh.
Alina, this one is months and months and months of information that could be shared with you, and that subject I think will take over to the community where it'll serve you the best, because you'll have references you can copy down and refer back to.
I am going to give a short answer to that question, because I have some definite feelings about that, and we'll enter into the stream too. You know, people they have, and particularly in business, they have equated success with how much money is involved, and to me that has never ever been a factor of a successful business. A successful business is one that achieves your goals and objectives for what you want for your business. That is a successful business. And to that point, I just said this yesterday or the day before in a related discussion, that I don't believe, Tim, there's such a thing as failure in business. You might not be as successful as you want to be, but there's no such thing as failure. The failure in business comes when you haven't tried to accomplish what it is that needs to be accomplished. You agree with that?
Oh, most definitely. Because if you don't trip and stumble, you don't learn what you were doing wrong.
Exactly. Well, and it's a common discussion that you have to have failure before you truly understand, like you said, what success is. But failure is a negative thing, and things just do not happen for sure in the business world with with a negative attitude. There
Yeah,
has to be a positive attitude.
the only thing that I've seen that is a definite failure is because you quit instead of keep trying or readjusting your sales of your business goals.
There you go. There you go. Well, Tim Longwell, thank you very, very much. It's been a wonderful about 45 minutes today, and we'll get this HOA posted, and I wish you nothing but the success in people ordering caricatures. I know that you will have a lot of fun doing that, and we're going to market it. We're going to brand you. We're gonna create a whole thing and make a Tim Longwell caricature in high demand. We're going to create the demand. So now it's up to you to keep up the supply. We'll create the demand.
Fair enough.
Well, there you go. Then you can raise your prices when demand is greater than the supply. Then you say, okay, you want yours? Here's what it's going to cost you. That's how you can.
And that's exactly how it works in the art world too. Scarcity affects the pricing.
There you go.
And
Okay, well, thanks to Tim, and thanks for all of our Dreaming with Entrepreneurs and Google Plus community members that join. You don't have to be a community member to view the HOA. I make it public, but it'll be great for you to join the community. We are going to have, we have a dynamic community. We have the opportunity where things can happen on a daily basis because we're going to use the tool of the HOA to communicate, to share ideas, to share thoughts, to start businesses. How cool is that? So we'll see you tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And it's very well could be that tomorrow will be the very best time. And we'll see you then.